This is the Maida Initiative, conversation without compromise.
Question for you. Do you think that view itself is the cause of the poverty, or do you think the poverty is the cause of that view, or do you think it's cyclical?
I think it's twisted. I think it's totally twisted, but I know actually I don't think poverty is the reason behind people going the view. Poverty might actually be the reason that people go and pick up guns and fight, because there has been, I've seen a lot of interviews online on the internet that the Taliban actually pays all those other people who pick up guns and fight. And that is why they go and pick up guns and fight, because the government does not have they think that the government does not have a plan for them. So that I think that is the economic side, but the view is definitely not shaped by the poverty, because one does not necessarily have to be rich to think properly and understand the world.
Right. So I'm really curious how you grew up feeling about the war and feeling about the sort of Western intervention. Speak your mind. You won't offend anyone here.
Growing up, I was only like thinking of United States troops as being like a big force in Afghanistan, because I thought they helped protect the country. And especially when I thought about how Taliban took over, or before the United States invaded Afghanistan. And I thought that if the United States troops actually leave Afghanistan, then the Taliban might take over again. Sorry about my clock. And I thought that if the United States troops actually leave the country, then Afghanistan would probably go back to that war zone, because Taliban would take over. But I think now my view about that has changed a little bit, because over the past few years, there were like thousands of United States troops in Afghanistan, and Afghanistan army itself was not actually ready to defend the country. And I think that has changed a lot. And right now, the Afghan forces are trained enough to be able to take care of the country. I hope. I do not really know, but that's what I heard from most of the experts that were talking about it. So I think growing up, I really saw United States troop and army support as something that protected the country from the invasion of Taliban again, if I make sense.
Yeah. So I guess fast forwarding to the present day, the US and the Taliban have just signed a peace deal. How are you feeling about that? What are your thoughts?
Okay, I'm a little bit, just a tiny bit scared for sure, because I think that when I read the agreement, there were so many controversial issues, such as 5,000 members of Taliban being freed from the prison in exchange to 1,000 Afghanistan army forces, I guess. And I think this number is just horrifying. How is the government to trust the Taliban, who did so many things to the country, and just free 5,000 of their members? But at the same time, I really have hope for my president, because I am very sure that he's a wonderful strategist and he has plans in mind. So I really hope that he use that strategic skills to not to let the Taliban invade the country again, because I'm sure he's not going to sacrifice everything that Afghanistan has achieved in like the past 2 decades to go back to where Afghanistan was in the 90s. So I'm a little bit terrified, but more hopeful about what has to come.
So what do you think are the things that from here on out, Afghanistan needs as a country to survive and thrive?
I think one thing that Afghanistan has always needed has been unity. And we've lacked that quite a lot. I think that the ethnic tensions in Afghanistan has been the main reason behind all the destruction and all the war. Because if Afghan people stand together, regardless of what ethnicity they are, or how they grew up, or what families they come from, or the social status, I think Afghanistan is going to thrive. But if the ethnic tension continues and people actually spread hatred among themselves, then that is going to be a huge source of destruction, no matter who comes in Afghanistan, whether it's some international troops or the Taliban. But if Afghan people stand strong together, I think the country is going to survive and thrive.
So what are the ethnic tensions exactly?
So there are many ethnicities in Afghanistan. For instance, there are Pashtun people, and then there are Tajiks, and there are Hazaras. And most of the times, I'm trying really hard not to generalize accidentally, so I'm not generalizing, but the majority of people, if somebody's Pashtun, they hate Hazaras for no reason, just because their grandfathers hated Hazaras.